by Dr. Sreenivasulu on the topic An Appeal for Environmental Sustainability in ISKCON. So let me introduce the speaker to the audience. Dr. Sreenivasulu currently works as Program Coordinator for two major research programs on Department of Defense and BHP at CRC CARE, which has a headquarters at University of Newcastle. He completed his PhD research at the Center of Environmental Risk Assessment and Remediation, University of South Australia. He plays a major role in demonstrating cost-effective remediation solution to manage the contaminated sites across Australia. He manages and coordinates the Defense and BHP projects under National Contaminated Sites Demonstration Program. His role as a program coordinator involves in applying for grants, managing and accessing the performance for future strategy. He also undertakes research in mathematical modeling aspects of groundwater flow and contaminated transport in groundwater, contaminated aquifers, and provide consultation services to various large projects. So, Dr. Sreenivasulu?
Yes.
Yeah. You can
you all hear me?
Platform. Yeah, perfectly. We can hear you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Visalakshi, and all the participants and senior members of ISKCON. Today, I would be taking you through the topic An Appeal for Environmental Sustainability in ISKCON. As His Grace Anuttama Prabhu has rightly mentioned about the Vaishnava perspective of environmental sustainability, I'll just give you a brief background about the environmental sustainability and the current status. From Krishna book, Srila Prabhupada states, the lakes of Vrindavan are surrounded by green grasses and various kinds of...
Dr. Sreenivasulu, sorry to interrupt you. Could you put your slides on slideshow mode, please?
Okay. Is that okay?
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. The status of environment when Lord Krishna was personally present approximately over 5,000 years ago, as Srila Prabhupada, our founder Acharya of International Society for Krishna Consciousness, mentioned in his book called Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In chapter 18, a beautiful description of Vrindavan is given. It goes, the lakes of Vrindavan are surrounded by green grasses and various kinds of lotus flowers bloom there. The air blowing in Vrindavan carries the aromatic pollen of those lotus flowers. Vrindavan is such a nice place. Flowers are always blooming, and there are various kinds of decorated deer. Birds are chirping, peacocks are crowing and dancing, and bees are humming. That was this state of environment when Lord Krishna was there around 5,000 years ago. Now you see the situation at the moment. It's completely contrast to what we had, but today the world faces the historic challenges of environmental degradation and climate change. We are having rising temperatures, melting ice packs, rising sea levels, hurricanes, droughts, floods, whatnot. And in addition to that, we have depletion of fertile soil and other factors. They are harming the quality of life and threatening social, economic, and political stability worldwide. And Srila Prabhupada, a founder Acharya of ISKCON, he has provided a what we can call as one-stop solution, that is cultivation of Krishna consciousness or Vaishnavism. And the main theme of the Vaishnavism that we are going to stress about is simple living and high thinking. His Grace Anuttama Prabhu has elaborately discussed about that. When International Society for Krishna Consciousness is established in New York in 1965, Srila Prabhupada had 7 purposes of ISKCON. One of the purposes is, that's the first purpose, is to systematically propagate spiritual knowledge to society at large and to educate all peoples in the techniques of spiritual life in order to check the imbalance of values in life and to achieve real unity and peace in the world. What we see here, despite we have an inspiring vision given by Acharyas, the IEI, the abbreviation goes ISKCON Environmental Initiative, headed by His Grace Anuttama Prabhu and other colleagues from all parts of the world. What we observe that much of ISKCON has not prioritized the values like simple living and high thinking. The lifestyles of our members, they exemplify the principle green and a simpler way of life required to teach others by example. So the context for an appeal for environmental sustainability in the institution is, our team believes that there are reasons for these shortcomings. The first reason is we have a necessity for a clear, consistent, achievable global environmental standards and guidelines in ISKCON. If you see, in ISKCON, we do have exemplary farm communities where they look after environment and they exemplify simple living, high thinking. But apart from these few exemplary communities, 90% of the institution, we have around 700 temples all over the world. Apart from these few communities, the other parts of ISKCON haven't prioritized environmentally sustainable actions, which is very visible. And the third reason, having not fully comprehending or committing to the founder's vision, we sometimes ignore environmentally conscious options and often make decisions based on convenience or short-term financial benefits. So these are the reasons they prepare the context for our green team, or you can call ISKCON Environmental Initiative. The basic objectives of ISKCON Environmental Initiative is to address these shortcomings that we just mentioned. We propose to serve our founder Acharya and leaders of our movement and the communities that we have in the movement and the members worldwide by. The first objective is researching and establishing several tiers of clear, sustainable environmental standards which can be easily adopted by ISKCON communities and members worldwide. So the main topic of my presentation will focus on this first objective. And the second objective is promoting understanding of Srila Prabhupada's teachings regarding care of earth as a core principle of Vaishnava life. And the third objective is enlisting the help of influencers. We have many leaders, influencers within the movement, such as artists, youth, to inspire international and regional bodies, local communities, and individual devotees to apply these standards in their own lives and communities. So with that, the first objective of our ISKCON Environmental Initiative is to come up with environmental sustainability tiers So we have developed three tiers of recommendations were developed with the input that we got from ISKCON devotees worldwide. And many of them are champions of simple living and high thinking. So the drafting of these sustainability tiers that we have as part of our green team, we had a long journey, and these tiers have come to a stage where we are confident to implement in our communities. So what we have to remember, particularly for the members of the community in ISKCON, that these tiers are just the guidelines, not the mandates. These tiers, they highlight important steps we can all take in 5 areas: food, energy, waste management, water, education, outreach, and culture. So these are some of the practical steps to achieve progressive levels of Krishna conscious environmentalism. So that's the a bit of background or objectives, and I've spoke about the context. Now I will take you through the sustainability. Let me just the tiers, the 3 tiers that we have developed as part of ISKCON Environmental Initiative. As I mentioned, we have 5 major categories: food, energy, waste management, water, education, outreach, and culture. Under tier 1, the main purpose is to achieve efficiency with what we have, with a little bit of planning and care. In terms of food, we aim to reduce the food waste, thereby plan for efficiency. And in energy, we minimize energy consumption. And in waste management, we reduce, reuse, and recycle responsibly. When it comes to water, we try to minimize water usage, plan for efficiency. And under education, outreach, and culture, so we teach about a simpler, more natural way of life. That's ISKCON's 6th purpose. I would like to give a bit more details about tier 1 and some aspects of the other 2 tiers, given the limitation of time that we have. Under food, efficient use of food are BOGA by smart purchasing, inventory control, and storage. And we distribute leftover prasad according to local health guidelines to the needy, distributing food to the animals, and whatever is food waste we have, we compost it instead of entering the landfill. So these are some of the aspects that we can undertake in the category of food so that we minimize the food waste. And when it comes to energy, we perform energy audit of existing buildings with the help of local agencies. We switch to energy saving globes, and we install smart thermostats, and we minimize dryer use. All these simple, easily addressable aspects that we can implement as part of tier 1 under these categories. And when it comes to tier 2, it's a bit more advanced. The objectives under tier 2 would be: we use local and non-genetically modified organic BOGA. Even though it's difficult, this is the next level. In energy, we replace equipment with energy efficient alternatives. Under waste management, we try to expand waste management efforts to the community. Water, we transition to water efficient alternatives. And in the category of education, outreach, and culture, we expand education efforts to the community. So under tier 2, we can demonstrate in a very, what do you say, a very easily approachable manner for simple living and high thinking. This is the advanced tier 3. In advanced stage, what we propose milk only from temple cows or other protected cows. And we encourage devotees to grow food at home or home usage and for offering to the Lord. And in the energy category, we go for advanced dedication to the sustainable energy, particularly installing solar panels, a change to a renewable provider, and we plan for energy efficiency, go for certification wherever it is applicable, and we try to use or we try to implement procedures where we have a minimal waste. In advanced methods, like we can go for digesting methane gas to generate bioenergy from our own organic food waste, and we go for treating the water and use the recycled water for various purposes, such as non-potable water. And under education, culture, and outreach, we collaborate with local colleges, universities, government agencies to develop demonstration projects. So these are the 3 environmental sustainability TAs that we plan to implement in ISKCON communities, particularly in urban sections. So where we go from here, having achieved the clarity what we need to do, the first step for us is to identify pilot project regions. So we pick up some communities, temples, where we can implement these TAs as per their capabilities. And once we have these pilot project regions, we appoint regional green coordinators who look after the implementation of the sustainability TAs in those particular regions. So once we have the regional green coordinators, we create awareness through education and some training sessions. So this way, those people who are not yet implemented these TAs will get inspired by this simple living, high thinking approach that we are trying to inculcate using the sustainability TAs. And once we achieve the success and create that awareness, we gradually extend this concept to other regions. Once this program is successfully implemented or being implemented in other countries or other regions, then we will have a monitoring and performance evaluation system which will coordinate and provide feedback for optimal implementation of the sustainability TAs. And by doing all these things, we build the image of ISKCON as a green ambassador. Green ambassador means the society which is formed to propagate Krishna consciousness is the society that's going to care everyone. So that is inclusive, all-inclusive approach. So at the moment, we aim to build the image of ISKCON as a green champion or ambassador, so that this becomes an active preaching impression that we can leave upon the world and the other communities. So this is the best way of propagating Krishna consciousness, particularly among environmental lovers and also the educated circles. I would like to express my thanks to His Grace Anuttama Prabhu, who is the GBC of ISKCON, Minister for ISKCON Communications, who just spoke about the Vaishnava perspective of environmental sustainability. Of course, it's me. So I work as principal scientist at University of Newcastle in Australia. We have Professor Goyal, Rasvilas Prabhu, and we have Allegra from Yale University. We have Krishna Kishore Prabhu from Union Theological Seminary, USA. And we had Gopal Leela Prabhu. He's a former Bhumi Project Director, Oxford University. And we have Sanjay Gadvi. He's a management professional who runs the Lotus Trust in UK. So with that, I would like to thank the organizers of this wonderful conference for giving me this opportunity to share some of the ideas that ISKCON Environmental Initiative has towards building a sustainable community where the simple living, high thinking concept is efficiently practiced. So thank you once again.
Thank you.
Happy to take any questions.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Sreenivasulu. Thank you so much for sticking to the timeline. Okay.
I hope I finished within the time.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for making us aware the ISKCON Green Team, its objective in developing clear, sustainable standards, and in making us aware about the sustainability tires. How can the food wastage can be reduced? How to minimize energy? How to minimize the water usage? And how to create the awareness about a simple and natural way of life, and how to maintain a sustainable lifestyle. And thank you so much for highlighting the point that how to create an image of ISKCON as a green ambassador in the society. Thank you so much for the detailed presentation. So we can take one or two questions. So let me see. Yes, there's a question from Lisa Pradhan. Where are the current pilot locations? How can we volunteer in this project?
At the moment, we have 3 pilot locations, one in Australia, North America, and UK. If anyone is volunteered to go for this approach, then they can contact me. So I can give my email ID to Professor Goyal. So,
okay, thank you. Yeah. Hope Lisa
so
Pradhan got the answer.
We have these 3 regions. We have these 3 regions. Now we want to implement these TS in these 3 regions.
Good that you are getting the volunteers from this conference.
We need volunteers. We need volunteers.
Yes. Yeah, there's a question from Hema Jha. We are coming global to local while implementing the TAS. What is the future long-term vision of transportation, international trade, and communication globally?
Sorry, can you please repeat that?
Yeah. Her question is, we are coming global to local while implementing the TAS. What is the future long-term vision related to transportation, international trade, and communication globally?
If I understood the question correctly, we are not coming from global to local. We are actually creating our the core principles at a global level. So we're not coming to a localist. So by this approach, we connect different communities worldwide. So that is the real meaning of globalization. And in future, the transportation and everything. So what we have to do here, sustainability has a different meaning and different approach. So from ISKCON Environment Initiative, what we are trying to do is from a very simple step. We were starting this, and our process is not going to impact the international transport, trade, and those things. So that scale, that proportion is entirely different from the scope of our initiative. So our initiative is we are making an appeal within ISKCON to create a brand image of ISKCON as a green champion. And those who are the ideal citizens, the Krishna conscious practicing people. So if we are ideal citizens, we should also demonstrate how we care for environment. By being an example, we provide that positive image in the world. So that is the real globalization that we are planning to build.
Exactly. Yeah, there's a question from one of the fellow speaker, Nandita Saikya. How can we transform Vrindavan to eco-friendly place? Has ISKCON any vision on it?
ISKCON is trying its best, but we have different projects. Since I do not know exactly the projects that are in pipeline to transform Vrindavan to, like eco-friendly or how it was, so I may not be able to answer because I don't have the details of various projects that various institutions, not only ISKCON. Yes, from ISKCON, we do care for the environment, so we do our part. But Vrindavan is a combination of 5,000 plus temples, and it's a part of government. So government is also doing its part. So unless we know what the other institutions are contributing to this environmental sustainability, particularly in Vrindavan, it's a community effort, not just ISKCON. It's a effort that we request from all the participants, including government.
The last question, it's from Aditi Nishal. It is an amazing initiative and it reinforces the importance of responsibility of a Krishna devotee towards environment. Being an international organization, what are the challenges we may face when we implement these standards globally and regional differences?
One of the main challenges that we potentially face is financial aspects and convenience. Yes, every effort has a bit of austerity and discipline. So sometimes in the name of convenience and not spending much money, so we may not be willing to implement these these TS. So those are the two challenges that we might face. But by proper education and creating awareness through training sessions, we hope we should be able to come out of these challenges. Yeah, these are the two main challenges: financial implications and the convenience.
Okay, that's a very good initiative, Prabhuji. Hope that achieves the goals and the objectives which have been framed.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much for the presentation. Could you kindly